Good morning, I think. Not sure. I've got a message over here that contradicts the other message. Alright, now it's changed. Now I want technical difficulties. It's Monday. Good morning. It's Monday. My name is Terry Morgan. It is Monday, January 18th, 2021. We are here for beginning Tai Chi and hopefully not the technical difficulties. I have a couple of things that we're going to work on today, and the focus is going to be on fundamentals for someone who has not practiced anything. Seriously, you never practiced anything. This is the session for you. Alright? Put the coffee down. Coffee is very important. Alright, so as we're starting practice, right? This again, I'm going to repeat this. This is beginning Tai Chi. And my assumption is you don't know anything. You've heard about it. Maybe something. This video showed up in a timeline somewhere. I don't know. Alright, as we start practice, and I covered a little bit of this last week, this idea of just standing. Putting the body in correct alignment, and then standing there. What's correct? What's not? What is the goal? Alright, so what's correct? Feet about shoulder width apart, and you see my little leg warmer thingies on there. It's chilly outside for me, and that makes my legs feel better, so it's good. Alright, so feet about shoulder width apart. Knees are bent just slightly. Just a little tiny bit. It's not bend the knees. It's release the joint so that you can open it. The hips are centered and the legs are relaxed as they extend from the hip. Yeah, your legs go from the hip joint. Yeah. Basic anatomy, right? Start at the bottom and we work up. Alright, the waist needs to be open. That means the separation between the bottom of your ribs and the top of your hip needs to be open. If you're kind of slumped and sinking, it's not good for your back. I haven't talked about back yet. It's not good for your breathing either. Alright, so up. The rib cage should be down and relaxed. Right? You're going to use it as you breathe. We actually engage a lot of things as we breathe. So we're going to use it. Right now, all we're looking for is it's down and relaxed. So you're not leaning backward and sticking your ribs out, and you're not leaning forward and pulling them in. Right? Shoulders are down and relaxed. There's little openness here, as the idea is open along the side of the neck so that the shoulders will drop down. Okay? We tend to do things like this so that the shoulders kind of come up as we get more tense, and we need them to be down and correctly aligned with the back and the rest of the body. Your shoulders don't go up to your ears. They don't. They just don't. That's not where they're supposed to be. Alright? So, consciously, we're paying attention to all of these things. Keep going up. The head needs to be suspended. So this idea of pulling up from the crown of the head, that's This is the idea. What that does is to extend the neck spine so that it's open, and there's more to this, right? So this pulls up, this relaxes, relax around through the back of the neck, keep the shoulders down. The chin is slightly pulled in, all right? And it's level. So I'm going to turn around so you can see this. All right, here's my chin. No. 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 Yes. No. It's easy to do this, especially in certain movements. Don't do it. I've got my chin tucked in. Yeah, no. Right. Up, no, we're not looking up right now. There may be some moves where we might, but we're not doing that in a normal standing position. All right, and down, no. Straight, and just slightly. And when you pull your chin back, you'll feel it right here at the base of the skull, where the skull joins the neck spine. This is also the yujin, the jade pillow, in traditional Chinese medicine, and we want that to open. Okay, several centers from traditional Chinese medicine that I will continue to talk about. I'm going to focus on the physical movement and the physical placement right now. So together with that, so I've worked all the way up, down through the head, shoulders, arms and hands. So we have, the arm should be, as we're just standing here, the arm should be relaxed and straight, but again, the same with the knee, not stiff. So not this, this. And there should be energy to it. It's not limp hands. There's energy moving through the hands, right? So as you're standing here, inwardly, outwardly it looks like you're just standing here, right? That's what it's supposed to look like, right? Inwardly, you're checking, going through that checklist. What about my feet? What about my ankles? What about my knees? What about my hips? What about my waist? How about my ribs? What about my shoulders? What about my elbows? Is my head straight? Right? No, it's not straight. Yes, it is. Give me a sip of coffee. And then we're going to do a little bit of footwork from Taiji. Okay, this idea of putting the body in correct alignment. We want to do a number of things, and I'm going to keep talking here for a second. The coffee's closer over here. So, yeah, horse stance. That allows me to be in the frame here. It's easier than getting the chair. All right. Anyway, so as we're practicing, we can do this. While I'm talking, you're going to do this. All right. This is the very good thing. You're going to do it for as long as you can. I'm going to continue my explanation, but I'm going to show you this exercise so you can do this while I'm talking. Okay? I just talked about standing here straight, and that's what I'm going to continue to talk about. But while I'm doing it, we're going to do a little exercise. Double that. If this is where your feet are when you're about shoulder width apart, double it. Bend the knees. Knees straight over the toes. Keep your back straight. Pull up through the abs. Mabu. This is a horse stance. everybody has horse stance. Everybody has a horse stance. Okay, I have not seen any martial arts system ever, seriously, ever, that does not have a horse stance. It may go by a slightly different name, but it's a horse stance. This is what it looks like. So your toes are more or less straight. You're not turned out. You're not fixed straight. It's just a little bit. Knees stay over the toes. All right, relax for a second. This is beginner class. Relax. If your legs were burning, good. All right. So, not turned out and not perfectly straight to the front, just a little bit. As you sink, the hip has to open in order to go straight down and keep the back straight. Right? No, that didn't make you go lower. This goes lower. So it's straight up and down, and heavy emphasis on the legs. All right, so I'm gonna talk about standing straight and the benefits of that. I'm going to get a sip of coffee. I'm going to come close to the camera. We're going to use a horse. I'm going to use a horse stance. You're going to do it with me. And I'll try and keep the explanation short. Okay? Again, as you feel it, go ahead and relax. If you're here with me tomorrow for advanced Tai Chi, you don't get to relax. All right? Horse stance. Sit. All right, now. Back to the explanation. As we're standing and or here in horse stance, the idea is to relax this straight standing, feet about shoulder width apart. You're checking body alignment. You're checking, is everything in a good position? You want everything to be balanced and relaxed. And what I mean by everything, I mean all your body parts. All your body parts. Balanced and relaxed over your feet, suspended, so that there is minimal effort required for you to stay there. It's just minimal. You don't have to do almost anything. It's just, I need to do just this little bit to keep myself vertical. Right? That's it. You want to get to a point that your balance is always in good alignment. Always 99%, All right, I'm going to step up for a second. Horse stance. It's a very good practice for developing holding strength through the upper body and through the legs. Okay, again, back to this, I'm standing straight here. This idea that as I'm standing here, the tension that is created by my not being in good alignment gets released because I'm correcting those spots, I'm correcting those areas. It's very much internal work. And putting that part of my body into good alignment. So let's say, for example, I'm going to turn sideways here. Let's say, for example, I'm going to use my right shoulder. Say, for example, in my right shoulder. Yeah. All right, there you go. Right shoulder, left shoulder. Let me step a little closer. All right. Shoulders both relaxed. All right. Yeah, I got a forward stance here so I can I can stay in the camera frame. Technology, don't get me started. All right, so I'm here. Shoulders down and relaxed. Everything's fine. Not fine. A little thing going on my right shoulder. Left shoulder's fine. Right shoulder, no, there's some tension over there. So what am I going to do? Let it go. That is one of the hardest things for most people to learn. Let it go. Let it go. Why do you want it? That tension is keeping you from doing something. Why do you want it? Why keep it? Let it go. This is both a physical and a mental exercise in Tai Chi. We have tension in the body, we have tension in our mind, our thoughts. So, what am I going to do today? How am I going to get this done? What about this? How am I going to manage that? All of the day-to-day things that we have to deal with, and then all of the extra day-to-day things that we have to deal with during the pandemic, right? So part of this idea behind letting go, you're letting go of the physical tension, but you also have to practice well, you also have to let go of that mental tension. Say, all right, for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to pay attention to Tai Chi. I'm not going to think about this other stuff. Whatever it is, I'm just not going to think about it. I'm going to leave it at the door. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to practice Tai Chi. All right, so this let go the tension in the body, let go the tension in the mind, focus on the present, on what we're doing now. That should be a first step. We work with that concept. We actively cultivate that. A little coffee and the stepping practice. We actively cultivate this skill in our Tai Chi practice so that as we develop the physical aspect, we're also working on the mental aspect or the mindfulness aspect. It's a 谁啊用以用心 In Chinese, we need to use the mind, we need to use the heart, and we need to have heart. The two different meanings of yi and shin. So with these concepts relate to what we have in the West in concepts of mind, in concepts of mental activity, of what we think about, how we think, what we pay attention to. These all come together in Tai Chi practice because we're asked as part of the art to pay attention to them. It's not a separate, let's go do this thing over here and we're going to do this thing over here and whatever. It's all of it plus a couple more things all put together that create the art. All right? So we don't want to leave stuff out. It takes, and I'm going to encourage you, it takes a little bit, especially when you're just getting started. There's so many different explanations, and there's so many people with a shtick that we're gonna this, and now, yeah, it's great. You send me 500 euros, I send you the secrets. No. It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Alright, don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Tai Chi and the benefits of Tai Chi come from your practice. When your practice is correct, you get more benefit. What is correct? This physical aspect that I'm just talking about is part of what we pay attention to with correct practice. This mental aspect that I'm talking about, where we're focused on now and not a laundry list of other things that we might have going on in our lives. Practice is practice. This is what I'm going to pay attention to now. That idea, combined with our physical practice, combined with a few other things, like I said, that I'm going to introduce. It has concepts from traditional Chinese medicine. There's a little bit more physiology that goes along, and there are concepts from traditional Tai Chi philosophy that are fundamental to understanding how to use. There's Tai Chi Chuan, Tai, great, supreme, Chi, great, best of, Chuan, fist. There are applications for every movement. And these are not one application to one opponent, this one to this one to this one to this one. That's something that Shaolin does. That's something that some of the other external systems do. In Tai Chi, we don't do that. We're going to focus on the principles. Peng Lu Ji An Zai Le Zhou Kao Jin Tui Pan Bu 在那个顶 ward off, roll back, press and push, slice, 三列 列 the translation is not there for me right now. Jolt is elbow and a coat is a hip. So, and entering, leaving, look left, look right, and centering. These 13 are the 13 postures of Tai Chi. They're done differently. They have the same, let me say that again. They're done differently in different systems. Okay? So the way that I'm going to do ward off in Yang style Tai Chi is here. The way that I'm going to do ward off in Wudang style Tai Chi is here. There's a difference in the way that I execute the movement. The fundamental principle behind ward off is the same. In Wu's Tai Chi, it goes a little bit up and out. Wu's Tai Chi keeps a circle here. Yang's Tai Chi is here. Wudang Tai Chi tends to be a little bit in between the two for its body circle. Chen style Tai Chi, similar to Yang style Tai Chi in some respects, more, but the energy is different. And the way that the movements are used is different. Alright, so with each Tai Chi system, we have certain things, and I just talked about this. Ward up, roll back, 13 postures, just talked about this. These are all common. The way we do them is just a little bit different. Okay. we're going to look at right now stepping method. That is common. Again, some fundamentals, yeah, might have a little variation in different places for different things, but at the core, stepping method for Tai Chi is the same. Somebody's doing Tai Chi, I'm going to expect a certain type of step, right? So as I'm here, and we're going to do this, as I'm here, I'm going to shift to my left, right toes to 45, transfer my weight to my right leg, bring the left through, take a step, and transfer my weight. And I'm going to do that again. Come on through. This stepping method, as I've just demonstrated, is from Yang style Tai Chi. Alright, if I'm in Wudang style Tai Chi, I'm here. I have a very similar, this is just a very straight walking step. I have a very similar kind of thing going on with both steps. The way that I do them is a little bit different, as you saw. The fundamental step, shift, open, transfer the weight, all the way comes through, place the foot, transfer the weight, and shift back. This rolling motion, and we're going to practice this, is one of the core methods in Tai Chi. We talk about Tai Chi as being a water, great waves, the waves on a great river flowing endlessly to the ocean. This rolling motion, moving. We don't stop in Tai Chi. We have the idea that when one part moves, all parts move. When one part is still, all parts are still. So if I'm standing here and I've gone through my checklist to see if I'm in balance, and I've put myself into the best balance that I have for today, and I'm going to stop going through that checklist, and I'm going to stop any movement, and I'm going to, for the next 5 seconds, practice stillness. Okay. Not sure. Having that idea of a time limit means that there's still some activity. So it's not quite as still as it should be, but you get the idea. As we're moving, we take that same concept when all parts move. So as I'm stepping, I have my shoulders are moving, my hips are moving, my knee is moving, my foot is moving, my head is going along with everything. My hands are not, in this case I'm paying attention to my feet, so I've put my hands here. There's movement, but I'm not doing anything in particular with them at the moment. They're not stuck. Right? That's what it looks like. My hands are stuck there. Not stuck there. All right? So just put here, is different, right? This is still moving, and that's my point. As we're moving in Tai Chi, the idea is all parts move. This is not an easy thing to do. It's not. I've had practice. I got 45 years of practice, all right? This is not an easy thing to do. Give yourself a break. If it's not working for you right now, take a break, breathe. It's okay. I'm going to get a sip of coffee again. We're going to do it again. All right. So the footwork matters. How we place the foot, how we put the weight over the foot. This is, as we're standing here, we're thinking about where is my weight, how am I placed, where are my body parts, is everything in good alignment? As we move, we need to do the same thing, right? So, as I turn here, am I sticking my hip out? I should not. That's a bad thing to do. I should just turn, right? As I turn, have I twisted my knee so that my knee's pointing over this way? Bad, don't do that. Knee stays over the toe. There's more than enough room to turn the waist. Ribs are here, waist is here, hips are here. Turn the waist, turn the hip, turn the ribs, turn the hip just a little bit more, bend the knee. You're there. The combination of small moves in multiple places creates the appearance of a larger move. Everything moves together. Ribs, waist, hips, waist, ribs, sink. You're there. If these places, standing practice, right? I'm emphasizing this before we get started because it's just so important. If your fundamentals are not strong, it doesn't matter how pretty whatever else you're doing, you could do the fanciest movements in the world, and it's going to look like duckweed floating on a pond. Detached, no substance. Might still look pretty. Fundamentals. I cannot stress it enough. Especially if you're just getting started. It's so appealing to, I'm going to go out and learn 3 forms this week. No, you're not. Not going to happen. I don't care how good you are, not going to happen. Alright? It's just not. So, fundamentals. Look at how we apply those fundamentals. Then go back and look at the fundamentals again. And then you can keep going. Alright? Fundamental. Stand straight. Feet about shoulder width apart. Knees bent just a little bit. Toes grip the floor. Heels down. Pull up through the arch of the foot. Shoulders down and relaxed. Hands down at your sides. Have energy here, but nothing stiff. Just like the knees, elbows are bent slightly. Pull up through the neck spine. Tuck the chin just a little bit. Suspend through the crown of the head. And stay there. It's actually quite comfortable. I have almost nothing that I have to do. A little bit of adjustment over my right leg, but almost nothing. Relax. This same concept we take into our stepping method. We take it into everything else that we do. This idea of being suspended, of being relaxed, being connected, and being centered. All right, so stepping method. I'm going to turn around so you can follow me. Stand straight. Hands can be here, can be here. I'm going to put mine here. We stand straight, shift to the left, open the right, and then we're going to step through with the left, place the heel, and roll through the leg. Okay? Feet about shoulder width apart. Stand straight. Shift on to the left. Bend the knee. Start the turn. Open the hip, turn the waist, turn the ribs. Turn a little bit more. Open the right toes to 45. And you should be going straight. Straight line on that 45. So your body should be straight to that 45-degree line. As you transfer your weight, start the turn to go back to where you were facing front. Hip, waist, ribs. Going this way now. Release the left foot, hip over the heel. Release the left foot, bring it in. Place it in front on the heel and push forward. Yeah, one more time. Shift left, turn. Right toes turn. Everything's going to that 45 now. And then I'm going to turn back to where I was and bring the left foot in. And I'll put it down and transfer my weight through. How do you know where to put your foot? Relax for a second. How do you know where to put your foot? I've talked about this before. I'm going to review just briefly. As you step, each system has its own particulars with regard to certain types of step. This step is common to every Taiji system that I've seen. This idea: shift, step through. Everybody has it. A little bit more turning, a little bit of an adjustment in how the step is executed, but it's fundamentally the same step. Shift here. As I open my right foot, I'm preparing to go this way, but I'm in fact turning to, right? Turn. Turn back. As I bring this foot through, it needs to come through in a circle, and I've exaggerated that circle. So it's over here, and I'm going to exaggerate again. It's going to come through and here. This is in fact a sweep. For those of you who noticed, it is a sweep, but we're going to talk about it as a circle. So, as I come through this foot, circles. place the heel. This means I'm talking about the suspend over both legs, right? We're now going to sink, keep that suspend, only we're going to be over one leg now, right? As we step through. This skill, put the body in balance, be able to suspend over one leg, takes practice. It's not immediate. It's not, hey, my leg's burning. All right, yes, it should be. This is a good thing. This is not a bad thing. As we step through, where do I put my foot? Your body, your foot, gives you where to put your foot. So I could tell you that you should put your foot, 1.6 feet from the back heel, and you should have your toes at this position, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it ain't going to work. All right? Why is it not going to work? Because people are different. We're different. We're different. So this metric, I'm going to use my own foot, my own leg, as my measurement. Okay? For this, we don't necessarily want everybody to be the same height with the same leg length and be able to be in a chorus line. This is Taiji practice. So it's your leg, it's your height, it's you. Okay, I tripped over that one. All right. So, how much is my supporting leg bent? I'm gonna go on the other side here. How much is my supporting leg bent? That's going to give me part of this distance, right? More or less. There's more. There's less. The other part is, how long is my leg? Okay. I've had students who had very long legs. Gorgeous forms. Their step was different than mine. That's my leg. You use your leg. So here, pick up, extend the heel, push the heel out, bend, and put the heel down. Do that again. Shift onto one leg. It doesn't matter which one. Shift onto one leg. Pick up the other foot. Extend it. Extend through the heel. Bend. Put the foot down. That's your length. You want a longer step? Bend more. Right? So if I'm here, do this with my hands behind my back. Do hands behind my back for a second. Alright, so if I'm here, there's my step. Right? 3. Which one can you manage? Which one allows you to transfer the weight from one leg to the other through the movement, keeping the correct posture and correct placement? That's your choice. Excuse me. The other point, and we're going to practice this again, the other thing that we need to pay attention to is, so we talked about this idea of where do I put my foot here? How long is my step? Right? The next thing that we need to talk about is where do I put it? Right? So how long, we got that. Does it go over here? Am I going to put it over here? Nope, 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 no, don't go there. Okay, how about right here? Okay, that's good. We put the foot down with the leg extended straight from the hip. How do you find where that is if you haven't found where your leg is in your hip yet? Your fist gives you that measurement. So, as I'm here, I'm going to put my feet together and turn the right toes to 45. Shift all my weight onto the right leg. I'm going to release the left, and I'm going to step forward. As I stepped, I opened so that when I pull this foot back, I should have, this is a test for me, I should have one of my fists in between the heel of this foot and the heel of this foot. So this foot comes straight back, and I should have one of my fists in between both heels. This distance is roughly the distance of your hip. So this is the space that you've got. Here's your leg over here, and here's your leg over here. That's how you find your step. It's not a, this is the formula. It's not a, oh, I said this. It's not, well, you put your feet here and you turn this, and then you have to measure 43 centimeters to this point, and then you have to do. Your own body gives you your measurements. This is important not only for practice, it's important for anything that you might do with a practice partner. As we have push hands practice, we have different partner practices. It's important also for anything that you might do with an application. You cannot do something that is impossible for you. You can't. You just can't. That ain't gonna happen. What's possible for you depends on your body. What's possible for you depends on your body. All of the practice that we do is beneficial. When we get to start and talk about certain kinds of things, particularly we start to talk about applications as well as certain types of movements and certain types of practices, there are advantages and limitations based on what we can do. I will give me as an example. There's a shoulder throw in Bagua that my teacher, Liu Zhang, had tried to coach me in how to do. It wasn't going to happen. Why not? Well, I could work at it. I could really work at it, and maybe I could get sort of good. But it wasn't going to happen for me. I don't have the upper body strength. I'm female. That's it. It ain't going to happen, right? So as I was talking about this with the idea that I don't have the strength here, I pointed out that I do have a strength here, that if he could show me how to use that particular technique as a hip throw instead of a shoulder throw, I might be able to do that well. And he did. That's my point. I know that there's a shoulder throw there. I also know how to use my body to execute a movement that's almost the same. It's a hip throw, not a shoulder throw. Very similar. And be able to do it well. Your Tai Chi practice is going to be the same. There are going to be things that you will know about and you'll be able to do them really well. There are going to be things that you will know about and I don't know. That's And there's other things you're going to look at and go, nah, not happening. Alright? I want the things that you look at that you say not happening to be not happening today. Okay? Very, very few things that should ever be, it ain't ever going to happen. Alright? Very few. There's some, everybody has some, but keep with the idea that it may not be today, but if I practice, tomorrow, it's possible. Footwork, again, a couple of steps. Pay attention to balance. Pay attention to what the supporting foot and leg need to do. Pay attention to the turn in the hip. Hip turns over the leg. Pay attention to the circle that the moving leg, the moving foot makes. Checking my space here, I'd like to take 2 steps. There we go. Alright. Feet about shoulder width apart. You can put the hands in front, put the hands in the back, put them someplace. Shift the weight onto the left. Turn. Sink into the left. Bend the knee. Right toes go to 45. Your hips are now on that 45. Shoulders on that 45. Bend the knee. Move the weight onto the right leg. Move the hip over the heel. Start the turn. Hips turn. Center. Shoulders and hips together. Keep the hip over the heel. Bring the leg through. Where do you put it? Transfer the weight. Check yourself. Pull the foot back. Pull the foot straight back. Alright? And put it back where it was. So you take another step. And shift. Turn the left toes. Transfer the weight. Push with the back leg until you can't push anymore. Line up the hip and the heel. Little circle. Put the heel down and transfer the weight. Relax. We're going real slow with this, right? Shift, transfer, place it, and transfer through, and shift back, open, pay attention to the hip, this turn in the hip and transfer through. Without the hip being open enough to turn the leg, your stepping will be off. The way to open that is right here. As you're standing here, this idea of pulling up through the hip and opening, letting the leg open, this leg and hip socket. You can do this. You can. You really can. All right? Allowing the space to be there to open the hip is part of what we're doing here. I talked about opening, pulling up the ribs, opening the waist. We got to open the waist. We need to open the hip. Without that, this is my hip turning. This is my hip and my leg as I move through. Sink, hip, leg didn't go anywhere. This hip, waist, ribs, front, and yeah, I do have a little bit more turn here as I come through. All right. So yeah, there's a few things that I do that are not beginner level. I will grant that. Just one more time. Pay close attention to where you put the extending foot. I got to check where I'm standing here. Alright, and shift onto the left, sink, turn the hip, yeah, there we turn the hip, alright, turn the toes, transfer the weight, turn the hip again, extend the leg, put the foot down, transfer through, shift back, turn the toes, pay attention to that alignment again, watch the hip, extend the leg and transfer through. Relax. This rhythm that I've set, and I'm going to go across this way for a second. This idea of shift and turn and shift and transfer and shift and turn and transfer, and that rhythm is important. I talked about this in the idea that Tai Chi has this flow. It's the waves of a great river flowing to the ocean. They never stop. We want to cultivate that flow with our stepping method. Just this one stepping method. And again, this is applicable to whatever Tai Chi system you're practicing. As we practice just this basic stepping, we're also developing side benefit. There's lots of side benefits to Tai Chi. We're also developing this sense of rhythm, this sense of timing, the sense of how do I move with the flow of the movement? How do I create this flowing movement? How is that going to work? We have breathing methods that go with. We have internal methods from traditional Chinese medicine that go with. We also have some internal practices that are special to the type of Tai Chi that we're practicing that go with. There's a lot to go with. It's a nice buffet. Come back next week, we'll have more. I appreciate you being here today. I will be here tomorrow for advanced Tai Chi. It's not going to be the same. And on Wednesday, I'll be here for Wudang's 3 basic methods. Thursday is Xingyi, and Friday is Qigong. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow or next week.